60 seconds to comply.
I think you'd better do what he says, Mr. Kenny.
You have 60 seconds to comply. This is the 2021 Christmas special. Part man,
part machine,
all pod.
Now, got a bit of an interesting one here.
Yes.
You thought that there was only one Christmas special that RoboCop the franchise has ever given us, but you were wrong.
Well, I thought that, and you have clued me into something really interesting, so...
Yes, so this is a fairly forgotten show, and I think it's because it's bold. It really took a huge swing and a miss, but I love things like that it just... They really went all in on a really high concept premise, ultimately to its failure.
I'm going to bury Lee here. I wasn't overly impressed with this, to be honest, but cards on the table. I'm not a fan of American sitcoms, so that's burying the lead a bit. I know, but you're more a fan, so...
Yeah, it's a RoboCop tie-in that was kind of a satire of sitcoms, but was also played as a straight sitcom, and I love it. It is such a hidden gem, and we should probably say the title. It's called That 70s Show. No one has heard of it, but yeah, it was pretty good.
I guess not being a fan of the genre, I wasn't clued into the satire, but I guess you're gonna explain all that to me. I got a couple of comments, but yeah, go on, please explain, because I'm a bit confused on how this ties in.
Yeah,
I know we got one tie.
Yes.
So
it is it's a Boddicker prequel, and
what?
Yes, and you're probably thinking that's insane, and yet they're doing it again, because there's the Dick Jones one that they're trying to do, and it's they're probably going to learn from this one. I don't think they're going to go as... To me, that 70s show is almost like what David Lynch did with Twin Peaks, and he was satirizing the soap operas and dramas of the time, but played it kind of straight as well, and yeah, so it's in that weird middle ground. And this wasn't long after.
Yeah, I was a bit confused, because, I mean, Boddicker in this he's surly and a bit abrasive, but, you know, I didn't get, like, cop killer vibes. I mean...
Right, so I'm thinking if they had let this show run longer, like, step aside Vince Gilligan. We're not Breaking Bad. Oh no, this is Breaking Bad before Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because again, not really being clued into that. I just thought this was just just a janky boomer comedy from the 90s.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I think. I mean, there are touches here and there where you think, oh, maybe there is this darker element, but they just played it way too subtle. But I have done a little bit of research. So, produced by Mark Brazil, who also made Third Rock from the Sun, and he often collaborated with Bonnie and Terry Turner, and their history is in, they've also done Third Rock from the Sun, I should say, but they've also done SNL, Wayne's World, so they were definitely trying to do comedy in a straight-up way.
Wayne's World had a satirical element, I know that.
Yeah, so you'd think they would have nailed that satirical tone a little better, but no, I think this... Well, the other issue too is that this was originally supposed to be, a lot of people don't know this, it was originally supposed to be a 45-minute long pilot.
Oh!
And halfway through production, they had to cut it back to a 21-minute pilot.
Oh, God.
So I think that was the issue. I think if they had gotten that 40 minutes, the back half of it, which is the second episode after this one.
Yeah, there's some really weird temporal shenanigans going on in regard to the pacing and the thing and this, particularly the party.
It feels really truncated, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so that explains so much just right there.
But yeah, so I think the issue is they're trying to establish a lot of characters, and this was actually one of the earliest roles for Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. This kind of launched their careers. So
yes,
and Topher Grace, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, he was fantastic in was it Spider-Man 3? Playing Peter Parker.
Yes.
that was inspired casting.
Yeah, and it was very cool seeing him again in No Way Home. So, yeah. But it's crazy how this pilot led to a few different careers after, but I'm not sure if it was directly because of this. I don't know, I'm thinking out loud here.
No, it could be one of those things where it was enough that it got them noticed. I mean, I know that who was it? Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, they end up becoming a couple, and don't know what happened with that afterwards, but I just know that through cultural osmosis. But I know they both went on to do movie careers, and I don't think I've ever seen any of it. But
I forgot to check when this aired. I think it's late 90s, and it's funny,
it feels 90s.
Yeah,
it really does.
I remember recognizing those actors when they showed up in other things, and then I got to a point where I realized, no one remembers what that 70s show is. I seem to be the only one who remembers that that's where these actors came from.
Yeah, as I said, I'm not a fan, so I tend to avoid these things like the plague.
Yeah, my family were really big on the sitcoms, so, Seinfeld, Friends, those were always on the TV. And I got a love-hate relation. I
think of a Seinfeld that actually might have broke my love of a sitcom. I just could not stand that show.
Yeah, I kind of enjoy Seinfeld. Mostly because Jerry drives the Saab. Is that it? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
That could be it.
But yes, so I think, Boddicker, acting on the blanking on his name. Kurtwood Smith. He is fantastic in this, and he is he gets his character. He is so on point from the get-go. But yeah, they needed to establish all these characters first before they brought in the main course, I guess. And I wish they could have just started, screw that first 10 minutes. Just go straight to Boddicker and his relationship with his family. And
you can imagine like if this was this has run the full season, like maybe even by the end of either season 1 or maybe this in season 2, that's when maybe he would have finally met Dick Jones. It feels like there's enough potential there.
Yeah, we don't even know where he works in this pilot.
Yeah. No.
So that's why I'm thinking, if they did continue on, is that, you show him just, having a family meal, then he gets a phone call, and he goes out, and okay, this is what he does.
Yeah, it could be one of those things that this is because we know in RoboCop there's the downturn of old Detroit, and this could be that thing where maybe there was, he was a well-adjusted, middle-class guy, and just things went badly. The economy goes to shit. Look, we've lived through a couple of economic crashes, big economic crashes just recently, so it's not that far off to imagine that's what happened to this guy. And he turned to a life of crime. Maybe something happened to the family. That could set someone off. Yeah,
so from what I've been able to gather from what they call the show Bible, I was able to find some scans from PDFs of the ancient Bible. And it seems to imply that... so this is set in Wisconsin, this episode.
Okay.
And he gets a job in Detroit. It doesn't specify what, and things seem to be on the up and up, and then there's something happens and everything shifts, and I would love to have seen that. You start off with this, it's almost like Too Many Cooks. You start off with too many cooks, it's just like a normal sitcom, and it's really cheesy and stuff, and then it's still going, it's getting weird, I'm scared now.
Well, that's one of the things I've always hated about American sitcoms, is that they literally just copy paste a script.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they just, find and replace words. It's the same beat, it's the same plot, the same thing, and everything resets, and it's always cyclic. So there's never any progression. So the idea of a sitcom actually going a bit out of the way and having a bit of depth, and I don't know.
I can't think of anything that was like that at the time, or even to this day. Maybe Modern Family a little bit, but yeah, the idea of a sitcom being episodic and building upon everything that came before. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like a wasted opportunity, especially when, let's face it, anything with a kid, kids grow up.
Yep.
So it's kind of embarrassing when you've got these, it's bad enough sometimes when they've actually hire, adults to play teenagers. But then when they're still playing teenagers, it's like...
Oh my god, so that's the other thing. This cast, they are in their 20s and they look very mature. And they're supposed to be high school students. And... breaking down the plot. So you've got Donna and Jackie, the two female characters in the friend dynamic. So Jackie is a little princess basically, and she's upset that she's single for Christmas. So she goes out to a bar with Donna, and she's flirting with these firemen. And it turns out that one of the firemen actually dated her mum back in the day. So that's that plot. And
that was good.
Yes.
in a twisted way.
Yeah, that was a fun little punchline. And then to Eric, who is Boddicker's son, Hyde, and then Ashton Kutcher, and there's Fez, Kelso and Fez. Yeah, they're all just having a boys' night, Christmas Eve kind of thing, and Hyde's dad is a bit of a coward, and he lets his son do everything. He's like, but I want him to be my friend, and
Hyde's dad, I do have a note on that. So that actor is Robert Hayes.
Rings a bell.
You might know him from a little movie called Airplane. He was Jeff Stryker.
Oh, he has a drinking problem.
Yes. His career never really took off, pun intended, after those movies. He starred in a few different things. One movie he did star in was a little movie called 50-50.
Okay.
Co-starring Peter Weller.
Oh.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. Maybe he was the one who jinxed the show, His choice didn't take off. I really like the dialogue for Boddicker. Clarence, I should mix it up. Clarence Boddicker. Well,
they don't refer to him as Boddicker in the show, so I'm guessing maybe there's a bit of witness protection or something going on, like the identity changes. So, I don't know.
Yeah, so...
I don't know his last name in the show. So.
Yeah, they just give him the nickname Red. So, yeah. But, he's like, dumbass and my foot up your ass. It's like, that's his catchphrases, and he's definitely... It's the Boddicker character we know and love to hate, but he's not quite pushed the line yet, or crossed over that line. He's just, a bit of a grumpy dad, and they make a big deal out of that. They're focusing on the fact that, Boddicker is a scary man. Everyone respects him or fears him. He has a military history. We didn't know about Clarence before.
Yeah, something about lieutenants. Yeah. So was that his original ranking?
Now we know.
Maybe that's why he knows the tactics with taking down cops. Military training.
That could explain.
Black Ops.
He's definitely done
potentially.
He's definitely done some things that are on a piece of paper that are all blacked out.
Yeah, he's definitely done some black. What's the phrase? Black Ops.
Yeah, black operations.
Yeah, redacted. Yeah, he's definitely done some nasty government shit.
Yeah, I mean, they are doing a lot to establish. He has this aptitude for leadership. Hyde's dad defers to him and his authority. Betas sensing alphas, as the idiots on the internet say.
The one thing I thought was a bit weird is that I never got the sense that, just from looking at them, like, Red and is it Eric?
Yes.
It's supposed to be father and son, but I don't know. I think it's just... Look, I love Kurtwood Smith. He just... And this is supposed to be a prequel, but he just looked a bit old. And it's one of the things of, like, Eric... He looks like he's old enough to be almost... No, maybe not granddad, but like uncle.
I think they should have given Kurtwood a wig or something to just age him down, at least for the first episode. I don't know why. In my extensive research, and there's not much out there, I can't tell you why.
Yeah. You clearly couldn't replace that character with any other actor, let's be honest. I mean, so I like that idea, but I don't know, they just could have done something. Maybe even just, instead of having him have a teenage son, maybe his son could have been a corporate stooge.
Yeah, I don't know. That would, yes, I really like that his son is, it's almost like in oh god, the sitcom with Michael J. Fox.
Family Ties?
Family Ties, yeah, where his parents are the hippies and
he's a conservative.
He's a conservative yuppie kind of, yeah. Yeah, do that kind of thing. I could imagine that.
Yeah.
And then you just got more of the business, capitalist, political satire in there. Again, I think it was just too little. I know they wanted a slow burn, but because it was, network television in the 90s, I think they were out of their mind to try and do something like this. I think nowadays, if you see this on Netflix and you can see where it's going, and I think that's what's going to happen with the Dick Jones show. I hope that's also a satire of, I don't know, maybe Suits or like a show like that, maybe.
Yeah, you said like Breaking Bad, so like even like on HBO, like maybe that's the way we could have got a more tonally appropriate prequel series out of this.
Yeah, I mean, I really admire Mark Brazil. Again, I love a big swing and a miss because it's so experimental, and well, again, we've already said it should have been 40 minutes long, and I would love to. I have seen this episode so many times because it is just such a weird little anomaly in the RoboCop franchise, and it has already a lot of weird anomalies.
Well, there's a moment where what's his face? Ashton Kutcher's, I forget
Kelso,
his character's name. Kelso. He goes, "That was a great party," and they're going, "We barely saw it."
Yeah.
So I'm guessing like maybe like 5 or 10, well maybe probably not 10 minutes, but maybe a few of those minutes were that party, and we missed it.
Yeah, I was not able to find a script, so...
Yeah, because it felt like the party ends when those two guys leave, and then then we cut back, like, I don't know, 20 minutes later, and the party's still going? It's like...
I feel like maybe that's where Boddicker would have stepped in at some point, but he doesn't. He shows up after it's done.
Yeah, it feels like, a day has passed throughout all this stuff, and yet, again, as I said, time is wibbly-wobbly here. I'm not sure if that's the producers making a comment about sitcom time shenanigans and compressed time overall.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you got the girls going out cruising for dates. That seems to take out place in the evening, but all the stuff regarding Boddicker feels like it takes place over a day. Yeah. Like, over 2 days.
It does lack cohesion. I think that's the biggest issue that the pilot, it just doesn't... It's trying to be too many things, and it's obviously had to be edited to half that length, and it shows.
Yeah. I don't know. It was weird. Anyway, so where were we? We were at the party happens.
The party happens, and then Hyde's dad... so, Kitty. We haven't even mentioned Kitty. So,
God, yes.
Clarence Boddicker.
Sorry, yes.
Has a wife, and you would actually recognize her from the recent WandaVision series. Yes. She is also the wife of a businessman, I think the boss of Vision in one of the black and white ones. And
I think it's the first episode.
Yeah, and she's just gorgeous. I love her. She's great.
She is amazing in this.
Yeah, and I love her very 70s hair. It's a lot of fun.
This is part of my thing where I was saying about... funny, okay. This explains kind of the boomer generation to a certain degree. Because you have this woman like coming into a stranger's house and start fussing about, oh, I should clean these things. And it pays off later on, but it's a bit weird. It's like, no, you're in someone else's house. Don't be bothered cleaning it.
No, this is the housewife way, apparently, in the 1970s.
Yeah.
I think she's well cast. I would love to see more of her and Kurtzwood. I think they had a good chemistry, great casting there, so I will give them that. Is it too late to revive this show?
So, funny enough, you say that. I was doing a little bit of research. They've commissioned a sequel to this called The 90s Show. The only two people returning from the original cast are Kurtwood Smith and, oh God, I am blanking on the wife's name. I'm going to look that up because that's just wrong of me to do that. Deborah Jo Rupp. The only two characters are returning. So yeah, I thought you'd like that. Mostly the same creative people.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now it's 1995. Leah Foreman is visiting her grandparents for the summer. Okay, holy shit! So they are bringing them back. Oh my god, But how does that work?
I don't know, but maybe this is the actual. Okay, so 70s doesn't work well for RoboCop as a prequel. Well, okay, so the time is really nebulous in RoboCop, but 1990s feels a bit more appropriate, especially if, like, let's say this show goes on for 1995,
Yeah.
2000.
Yeah, because we never get a date for RoboCop, so I'm guessing
No.
maybe it was a studio decision. They just went, well, it came out in 87, so just make it 10 years before that. They don't want to confuse people.
Yeah, but if we go in universe, maybe the thing that caused the downfall of society, and a few years after, 1995, 2001, September 11,
Yeah.
war, things got shipped. 2007 is the global financial crisis. What? Yeah, and in real life, Detroit goes to hell. So maybe they're trying to tie that in. Maybe they're just doing a time skip to try and tie it in a bit better.
Yeah. I think
we've not seen it.
The 90s makes a lot more sense, I think.
Yeah.
Also, I love that Boddicker, he's very much... I mean, he's not as violent, obviously, as he will become. But you still get this sense of... This is this very... I don't know, not sinister. He's not quite sinister yet, but just very acerbic and surly.
Yeah.
And he's shoved into this cheesy 70s sitcom. He doesn't fit in. I love the line where Eric's apologizing. He's like, I'm really sorry and afraid.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something bubbling underneath, and I really enjoyed that.
So in the end, so we should mention very vague plot. The plot is not really important,
Yeah.
but yeah. So Eric, after going to Hyde's party, he's totally trashed. He vomits on his dad's shoes, and so in the end, Clarence wraps up the shoes, gifts it to Eric. He's like, "I want you to clean those shoes." And I would have loved...
Yep.
I mean, I get where the joke, the setup and the payoff and all that. But I would have loved it if it was something a little bit more sinister. Because then you end on this note of, holy shit, what did I just watch? Where is this going?
Yeah, like maybe if he was like, he vomited on his gun or something like that, and that's what he has to clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the Desert Eagle he has in the original movie where with the barreled silencer and all that. Maybe that was it. He hears something outside and he puts his gun away or puts his gun on maybe belt holsters it or something like that, and that's what gets thrown up on.
Yeah.
Those things have to be cleaned properly, so you can't just have puke all over it.
Yeah, they could have done more to tie it into RoboCop, and I think, I don't know, the producers just wanted to do something a little bit more abstract or take their time to get into it, or maybe it was...
Yeah.
Well, it could be a case of we're trying to appeal to too many audiences, we're trying to please everyone, and then you end up failing. And I think you watch this, and I think you could watch it and just think it was an average sitcom and have no idea it's connected to RoboCop.
Yeah, that feels like a. I was gonna say studio thing, but it's not studio. Network. That's probably a network note. It's just like, I know we ordered this thing, but can you tone down all the RoboCop references?
I would kill to get an original script. I want to know what that other 20 minutes was, because I feel like well, because it's been so many years since I've seen it, my imagination's had a long time to just go buck wild. I've imagined all sorts of crazy scenarios of it goes super dark towards the end, but if they're still living in Wisconsin in the pilot, I can't imagine them going across to Detroit in that first episode. Or maybe they do. Time in a sitcom very quick. So
yeah, that's what I said. The time shenanigans enough in just this one episode is a bit weird, but I guess one of the things back in the day it was they didn't really plan multi-year things, so this might have been one of those first experiments, because this is an experimental show, so maybe it was one of those first times I went, well, we know where this is going to end. We're going to drag it on because we want to be paid lots of money.
Yeah. So this came out, 1998. Isn't that so bizarre that, wow. So the 90s are over 20 years ago. So it's the same distance of time. And The only difference I feel, the fashion and everything has changed, but
Yeah.
the biggest thing is at work they've always got, the oldies station on, and the 80s music is all fun and peppy and great, and then the 90s comes along and it's just like, and I don't want the world to see me. It's like, fuck off. Everything is so whiny. All 90s, well, 90% of 90s music is really whiny.
No, I was gonna say 90% of the 90s music is pretty accurately just terrible. I lived through that the first time, and no, most of it was shit.
A great time for electronic music, your Euro beats and your Daft Punks and your big beat Crystal Methods, all that stuff.
But it's funny because you bring them up. Early 90s music was really trying to milk the last part of the 80s.
Oh yeah.
And it really didn't have an identity until essentially Nirvana came along and kicked it in the ass. It pulled a Red Boddicker on the industry and did this whole thing of that angry teenage kind of angst that really helped propel it forward. But then it kind of Kurt Cobain died, and it kind of sucked again. The R&B came along and just made it really sanitized and boring.
Yeah, you made me think, Red. I wonder why his nickname is Red.
Because of all the blood he spilt in Nam.
Yeah, maybe it's, it could be. Yeah, maybe it does have a sinister implication, but, it just seems kind of random otherwise.
I don't know. If he was ginger, I get it, but that's no. So the Australian thing would be calling him Blue, then, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
Blue.
I don't know why, but that's what we do. It is the opposite on the color wheel. That's all I can think of. But, so Twin Peaks was 1990, and I think, the movie
it was too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fire Walk with Me came out later, didn't it?
92, and this came out 98. So it's still relatively recent, and I think that's what they wanted to go with. I really do feel that was the intention of a satirical, surreal kind of show, but the difference is Twin Peaks, the pilot is movie length. It has that time, because I think if you only watch the first 20 minutes of Twin Peaks, it is quite literally, a murder in a sleepy little town. Here's a detective coming in to clean things up.
That's honestly all I know. I've seen the pilot episode, and that's literally all I remember. All I remember is she's dead, wrapped in plastic.
Yep.
That's all I remember the entire show.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's my only memory.
They apparently flogged that scene in trailers. I don't know why.
Yes. That's probably why I can remember it.
Wrapped in plastic.
Wrapped in plastic.
Now, I'm wondering if maybe what this needed was a more auteur director, and they didn't really do that back in the day. It's surprising David Lynch did television, but David Lynch kind of does whatever the hell he wants. In fact, David Lynch cooked me dinner last night. I don't know why. I just came home and he was like, "Hey, take a seat, bud. We got something to talk about." And I felt really stressed the whole time because
Get off your fucking phone.
Yeah, he wouldn't tell me the whole time what we were going to talk about. We're talking about other things, but I was like, "But what is the thing you came over?" It's like, "Do you like basil?" Okay, I do, but what does this got? Just hang on, pal, buddy. Anyway, he wanted to know if he could borrow my lawnmower. That was it.
Oh, Jesus. Damn,
He's always borrowing shit from me. You'd think his extensive, illustrious career, he would have a fucking lawnmower. No,
well, look, this is how rich people stay rich. They don't buy anything, they just borrow it off someone else.
Yeah.
Bastards. I'm not sure if this is just because of when it was made, but it really does explain the boomer generation. You think about it in hindsight.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun to see all the 70s stuff. I like the setting. I think that would have been really interesting to have that transition from the 70s to the 80s and seeing... I think the biggest mistake there was calling it That 70s Show. I think maybe that was a working title and they just stuck with it. I don't know.
That feels so... I don't know what else you could have called it.
Yeah, the Boddicker show, like the prequel to RoboCop. How do you? I don't know what Dick Jones is going to be called because that name
Richard,
doesn't. Yeah, that name doesn't mean anything. So I think these. I love the idea of these RoboCop spin-offs, and I'm looking forward to the Dick Jones one. But
yeah,
how do you sell it? I think nowadays it's going to be easier. But what do you actually call it?
Fistful of Dick.
Yes, I like that one. That could be the name of this episode. Yeah.
I think with how television is devised, so this is not so much television, but how drama is now really being devised for long format storytelling. You know, we still get our movies and stuff, our blockbusters, our action schlock. They work great in a small packaged, disposable chunk. Something that can take an afternoon to watch. But I think like modern day dramas are really, really finding their footing.
Yeah.
In made for TV or long format. You can still have some of that production value. And I think the origin story of like someone like Dick Jones, it could be a rise and fall thing. Maybe he was optimistic at some point, and maybe it's one of those things of the corrupting force of both him and Boddicker, or some of the things. Maybe they were both trying to work towards a common goal, and society screwed them. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if the Dick Jones prequel has any sort of IMDb page.
I have not been able to find any new information. All I know is that there must have been a press release a long while ago, but that's it. I mean...
Yep, no. Yeah, it's been over a year since they talked about it, so... Well, given that the world is still dealing with a pandemic and stuff, things are going to slow down.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I just quickly clicked onto the Kurtwood Smith Wikipedia. I didn't realize he was in Rambo 3.
He's that guy. He definitely gets around.
Oh, yeah. I don't think he's that guy. I was just trying to quickly get to the RoboCop article to see if there's any new development.
I'd like to know if they are... Obviously, they have to recast Dick Jones, but I'm wondering if they're going to bring back some recognizable characters like Clarence Boddicker. And I don't know, I want some kind of resolution to that 70s show. I've wanted it for so long.
Yeah, I think you'd have to. I think if you're going to do a Dick Jones, you have to have... But their relationship is one of the crucial elements within the world building of RoboCop. You know, it's Clarence is as important as Dick in those moments he's in the show. Like, not just because he's the guy who kills Murphy, but he's also this phantasmic force. Like, you know,
Fantastic Four.
He's almost like this shadow that like the cops are having to fight this guy who's just basically just ruthlessly killing them, and they cannot find him or defeat him. You know, it really does take something like a robot cop to take this guy down. Like, you know, he is surrounded by, his... Maybe that's the thing. Maybe we can find out how he gets his goons, or how he, befriends all these people. How he manages... How does someone like Clarence rub elbows with the second guy in charge of a multi-billion-dollar corporation? That's an interesting tale that we need to know. Yeah,
and I like that we have this opportunity now to expand upon stories that, RoboCop, I mean, it's in the title. It is a very focused story on RoboCop. The secondary characters are just there to propel this story.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like fan fiction. We're getting to a point where we go, that character's interesting. Well, what if we followed his past, and where does that lead us? And there are some spin-offs that have been successful. You've got the Breaking Bad one. Well, there's El Camino, but there's Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul, yeah.
I'm told that's very good. I haven't seen it because I work full-time now, so I have no time to watch television. But
me neither.
Yeah.
But I've heard good things about it. Franchise pretty much nowadays are pretty much fan fiction. Like, everything that's being rebooted and stuff like that is essentially fan fiction.
It is.
To be really honest. The Star Wars sequel movies are fan fictions.
Yeah, exactly. But when it comes to sitcoms, well, we've never done spin-offs in different genres. I think that was another nail in the coffin for this pilot, that, Frasier is a spin-off of Cheers. It's still a sitcom.
Yes.
You couldn't do Frasier as anything other than a sitcom, I don't think. It just doesn't work. So why... I mean, I love it, but I don't understand why you would do a spin-off of RoboCop that isn't science fiction at all, or doesn't even hint at that possibility. I mean, we've already talked about why the show was truncated and all that. But yeah, put it there in the forefront.
Yeah, well, Cheers gets immensely better when you realise that it's a holodeck recreation on the Enterprise.
Oh.
Have you heard that theory?
Yes, I have.
It's so good.
I hope someone's done an edit of that.
Oh, that'd be amazing. But yeah, because the funny thing is, because I think you can change genres, but you really have to make sure it's really tightly written. That's the funny thing is, because we've got some franchises now which are doing that, like superheroes. People, they're finally going, we just don't want a superhero movie, we want a superhero comedy, or we want a superhero horror.
Yeah, there's more of a call for this kind of thing, to do something a bit weirder. So yeah, I think rest in peace, that 70s show. You were born too early.
We barely knew ye.
We barely knew ye. You were born in the wrong time.
You flew too close to the sun.
Yes, Icarus.
The sad thing is, my brain went to fucking Man of Steel with that fucking Luther bastard.
Yes, so Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmases?
Yes, I hope it is the capitalist dream that OCP would have wanted.
Yeah, there's some arguments that could be very much made on the OCP-ifiement of
Just
this
imagine
particular holiday.
Yeah, OCP with the holiday season commercials from OCP.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Why didn't they do ad breaks in that 70s show? That would have made all the difference.
Oh, I think I know where the ad breaks were. They were in the ad breaks. They cut them out. They probably made ad breaks in the meta show, so that, they knew what the timing was going to be. But of course, everything had to get edited out. So, bastards. We never got to see the, I don't know, maybe like the origins of like the first edition board game of Nukem or something like that, or maybe like a precursor to Nukem.
That also, imagine if they opened the episode with the family playing something like Nukem, or any recognizable product, the SUX car, like anything.
Yeah, maybe there's SUX 1000, like maybe go a few editions early.
And that's what I'm saying, is they played it so straight early on. It was just like, no, try to shove as many recognizable images and products in from the beginning.
Yeah, oversaturate that shit. That's it. If you're going to have satire, lean into the satire. God damn it.
Yeah, it's a sad...
Potentially great show.
Yeah, it's a sad affair when clearly they were trying. They really wanted to do something, and then the network just didn't know what they had ordered or how to handle it, so...
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we'll get maybe some more episodes will be unearthed. I mean, maybe we can find a script or something like that in the future.
I don't know if they filmed anything else, so I hope one day, like Doctor Who, one day there'll be more.
Oh, I meant the the cut footage. The 20-minute song.
Maybe it's due for a Blu-ray release, maybe, if anyone cares.
Or remember when they did the 4K transfer of RoboCop? Maybe they can finally put that on as like as a bonus feature.
Oh yeah, I'd love that.
I mean, it's probably shot in video, so it's not going to be like the best quality, but
better than what we were watching, which is YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully I have converted you and the listeners, and that 70 show is actually... It had potential. There is something there, and Kurtzwood Smith really sold it. He was carrying that thing on his own two shoulders.
Yeah. It didn't sell it. You sold me on the idea, but the show didn't deliver on the promise.
No, I had many years to dream up all the possibilities. I was a strange child, so I got devoted to some weird shows and some weird concepts.
Yeah, well, I was a kid when I watched RoboCop, so I was definitely strange to begin with.
Good.
So on that note, where can the lovely viewers find you?
So you can find me in the new year, being a new me. Yeah, so nude me. So traviandesigns.com and patreon.com/traviandesigns and Courtney Colson on YouTube and The Greatest Regeneration on Instagram.
And you'll be moving on to 1982, I believe.
Yes, what could possibly be waiting for me? Maybe Blade Runner, perhaps?
I think, isn't there a Star Trek movie that comes out?
There's,
Star Trek
yes, 2 or 3.
Star Trek 3.
And I think Tron.
Yeah.
I think Tron. E.T., a good year.
E.T., yeah, good. It's got some good movies in there. And you can find me on Fandom Crossing and Helios Photos on the Facebooks and the YouTubes. Speaking of the tubes of you, we also are on there, Spotify, Google, Apple, things, Simplecast. Like, share, subscribe. Most importantly, have a happy holiday, happy Hogswash, happy Kwanzaa, and all the other things. Peace and goodwill, all that stuff. Live long and prosper. I've got nothing else.
Merry Christmas. Bye. Robocock.
Jingle balls.
Oh, yeah. Jingle balls, Robocock. Na 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 na. Don't make me think of other lyrics. There you go.